Yay. All right. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, Stuart. We love hearing from you. It is like coming up to the last 48 hours of the month, so we're very excited. Lots of activity going on, and there's also lots of new faces on here. So if you guys have not met Stuart before, you're going to meet him now, and he's like super high energy. It's a good story. Over in the UK, he is our upline. So you would have started, oh my gosh, maybe like 12, 13 years ago, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I was 2011, I started.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So he's built an
13.
incredible business, and it just like blows me away about what he's actually built with like how many people and like income wise and impact of so many people. And yeah, so I'm going to pass it over to you, Stuart, to
Yeah. Shall I quickly just tell you my story, just in case
yeah.
like I am new to you? So I'm an executive national vice president over here in the UK. I started my business and I was at a point in my life where I was like, I am so poor and it's just so boring because I can't afford anything. And I was destined to be a multi-millionaire. Like, what the hell is happening? And I randomly bumped into a girl. I moved into a house actually, and she was doing this thing called Arbonne, and she was an area manager, and she had terrible skin and she had no confidence. And she was talking to me about this Arbonne business. And I was like, Jesus, if she can do this business with all of these flaws, then I thought to myself at the time, I'm so confident I could definitely do this. Little did I know actually that it was all surface confidence. And then when I started my Arbonne business, I had to like really work on myself. I was like, oh my God, this is like my inner core confidence was literally on the floor. It was crazy. Anyway, so I started my Arbonne business. She then went from going from an area manager to a regional vice president before I started. So I saw her go area to region, and I was like, "What is this girl doing? Let me do it too." My background is in musical theatre, so I was in the West End, like West End shows, loving my life in my 20s. But when you look at when you're if you have a job too, like if you look at people that are in their 40s, their 50s, and I was thinking to myself, I don't want to be in musical theatre earning the same as what I'm earning right now as a 40-year-old. I am actually 40 now though. But when I was back in my 20s, I don't want to be earning a 20-year-old salary as a 40-year-old. Something has to change. And so yeah, started my Arbonne business in 2011. And the first 10 months of my business, I was an absolute loser in Arbonne. Like, no one was saying yes to me. I've really struggled. I thought, oh my God, is this possible? But what kept me going is the fact that I saw other people doing it. So I saw people in Sarah's success line going to district, going to area, and going to region in that space of 10 months. And I was like, what is the difference between these people and me? Nothing. So I just need to just make it happen. And I was in a cloak. I was working in between jobs. I was working as in a cloakroom, which is like where you hang up the coats. I was getting paid like £6 an hour, and hanging up these coats in a really small, dingy room. And I thought to myself, I'm going to make a video of this moment so I can always remember this video, this moment. So I made a video saying, right, this is the like stake in the ground. I am absolutely going to regional vice president by July of that year. It was December when I made that video. In the January, I was like, right, I'm going for this. And then 4 months later, I was an executive regional vice president. I promoted out a region. By the end of that year, I was so close to even going nation qual, but didn't quite complete. And then the year after, so it took me 2 years from when I went to region to go to nation. And I've been a national vice president. I got there on my 30th birthday, and I've been a national vice president now for a whole decade. 10 years of a national vice president income has completely and utterly transformed my life, the way I think, the people that I spend time with, how I use my time, the like everything. My whole life has dramatically changed because of this business. And what I want to do in this training is give you, like, if I was starting again, if I was in your position where I'm like, okay, I'm at the beginning of my business, what I would actually do, like, how are you going to go from where you are right now to region in the next 3 months? Like, if that is totally possible. Is it one of those, like how they say, is it typical? No, it's not typical. But is it possible for you to do it in 4 months? 100%. Do you have to like throw yourself at this like no one else? Yes, of course. You've got to work super hard. You've got to fit like 2 years worth of work into 4 months. But we are in reduced quals right now. So why not? Why not go and stretch yourself and make it like the next 3 to 4 months be a regional vice president like I did? Because if I can do this, honestly, if you saw me at the beginning of my business, you would have been like, Jesus, like this boy has no chance of becoming a business person. And here I am speaking to you 10 years later. So I'd say I'm going to give you a few tips of what I would actually do. So the first thing I would do is I hope that you've all got the presentation. I would learn the presentation like your life depends on it. I would be presenting to your teddy bears on the bed. I would be like literally, I'd spend 2 full days of like being an expert at that presentation. So I would learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it. I then would go to every presentation with bullet points of my cards. So I would say I would call like 3 people, my 3 best friends. It doesn't matter if they do Arbonne, doesn't matter if they don't, but I would call my 3 best friends and I'd say to them, listen, I need 3 people to practice the presentation on, and I would love to practice on you. Would you just give me like 20 minutes of your time for me to like perfect my presentation? And if you want to give me notes at the end, then absolutely fine. But I would just love to practice my presentation on somebody. And so you go to that person, you do the presentation, and that person then you're going to then make that person do Arbonne. That would be my goal for the first 3 people that you speak to. So learning the presentation. I then, in that time that I'm learning the presentation, and don't make this a month learning the presentation. I'm talking like days, 1 to 2 days of learning the presentation. You can all do that. The next thing is I would have an aggressive my goal in the next 30 days is to have an aggressive transformation with the products. So skincare, are you using all the skincare? Like, are you using it on a every single night and every single morning basis? Like, take before photos, make sure that you've got like a bank of like what I used to look like before, what I look like now. The 30-day plan, I would do the 7-day reset or the 7-day whatever it's called, with the products, and then I'd go straight into the 30-day plan. You want to be looking like people turning their heads going, what has happened to you? Like, wow, you look unbelievable. What has happened? And you want it to be a fast transformation. You want it to be in that 30 days, in that 30-day window. So people are like, oh my God, these products actually do work. And I think when you're using these products for these 30 days and you're doing the 30-day plan, you're thinking to yourself, this is my only business like shop window. I am the shop window of my Arbonne business. It is so crucial. So when you think to yourself, oh my God, I just want a chocolate digestive or whatever it is that you're craving, you're like, no, because I am the shop window. This 30 days, it needs to be me showing the world what is possible with these products. So have a transformation. So number one, learn the presentation. Number two, have an aggressive transformation. So in 30 days time, you're like, by the end of May, you're like literally looking the best you've ever looked, and everyone's going, oh, what have you done? Like, because that makes your business and you so much more like sellable. And that's what we're trying to do with Arbonne, obviously, sell these incredible products. I would use nothing but Arbonne. So if you look through your makeup bag and you've got other makeup brands, then I would be like, right, okay, that is not selling what this vision of what this business actually is. So if Arbonne sell it, I'd be using it. I wouldn't be using any other products whatsoever. I don't use any other products whatsoever. I'd only be using this. And then this is again, like you're just trying to think strategically as a business person. Like if you had created these products and you were like doing the formulations for these products and you were doing all the back end that Arbonne do for us, thank God, because that's a lot of work. But if you were doing that, you wouldn't be using somebody else's products. You wouldn't be going to, well, I don't know what your shops are called, like Boots or Tesco's or wherever your shops are called, and going to buy cheap products from the supermarket. You would be using your own products because you've spent 4 years freaking formulating them. Like, I want you to think like a business person. Like, okay, these are my products. These are products that I'm selling, and these products are unbelievable. And if you're not using them, you're not going to ever sell them. So I would make sure that my whole makeup bag was full to the brim with Arbonne products. So when you go into the bathroom and you're like, oh, I've just touched up my makeup, and someone's like, oh, what's that in your makeup bag? You're not saying, oh, it's MAC. You're saying, oh, it's Arbonne. It's this brand that I work with. And then you can then start the conversation with someone you've just met in the toilet. Perfect. So just make sure you're using all of your, like everything Arbonne. I'd love to literally for each of you to make you go around your house right now. I want you to go into your bathroom and I want to see if there's any non-Arbonne products in there. I want to get a big black bin bag and put them all in that bin and start buying from your own business. I'm not going to make you do that, but I would love to actually see who has got contraband in their house. So the next thing, my next tip is I want you to treat this like you are getting paid millions and millions of pounds a month from doing this business. You are the CEO of this business. You are treating this like a business, and you have been hired by Arbonne to explode New Zealand. Like you are in control of this business, booming or failing. The end. You are the CEO of this business. People treat this business like a little floppy, like puppy, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'll give it a go. I'll see how I get on. I want you to imagine you're literally getting paid thousands of pounds a month from Arbonne already to make this a success. If you don't make this a success in the next 3 months, we're going to sack you. Obviously, that's never going to happen because this is Arbonne and we love everybody. But I want you to just treat this like a business and stop being floppy and stop being like, oh, I'll do it next month. You know, you set yourself a goal at the beginning of the month and be like, oh, it doesn't matter. It does. Like, set yourself really high expectations for yourself. And every single day, make sure those expectations of yourself are met. And if they're not, give yourself a talking to. Like, why? Why am I letting myself down? Why am I not doing what I said I was going to do? Because it is so easy to be like, also, it's easy to be kind on yourself and be like, oh, I'll do it next month. But it's also really easy to be hard on yourself and be like, oh, I'm so annoyed at myself. And then the next day, oh, I'm so annoyed at myself. Just freaking get on and do it. Imagine this, if you are the CEO of Arbonne and you were doing what you're doing right now in your business, would Arbonne be thriving as a business if you're the CEO of Arbonne? Like, would it be thriving? I'm assuming that you all would be saying yes because you're all incredible and you're all amazing and you're all giving it everything you've got in the spare hours that you've got to build your business. But if you're not, and if you are thinking to yourself, do you know what? I could definitely be doing a little bit more. If I was CEO of this company and I was taking this into the billions, like I could probably be doing a little bit more to build my business. Then I'm speaking to you. So treat this like it is like you're going to be earning my paycheck at the end of the month, and like you're hungry and you're making executive decisions to build a multi-million pound dollar business. So the next thing is I would be speaking and I would make sure that I record myself every time I speak about Arbonne. You want to record yourself in your pocket. You want to record yourself when you do the presentation. You want to record yourself when you're speaking about the products, and you want to record yourself when you do a follow-up. And I want you to listen back to the recordings every single time you speak the word Arbonne. So, and the reason why I want you to record it is because I want you to think to yourself, am I speaking with conviction, or do I have doubt and hesitation in my voice when I'm speaking about the business and about the products? If you have any doubt that this business is whatever, you're never going to build your Arbonne business. If there's any hesitation in your voice, people will jump on that and not build the business with you, not buy the products from you. You have to have massive conviction. Like, I want you to think to yourself, right? I want you to be speaking to yourself as your like in 5 years' time, where you could all be national vice presidents in 5 years. Let's be honest. That's like kind of like the average. So in 5 years' time, you're a national vice president. I want you, that national vice president version of yourself, I want you to be speaking to yourself every day in that voice, in that national vice president person voice, speaking to yourself every morning and every night before you go to bed, like, I am so proud of you. Yes, you stepped out of your comfort zone. Yes, you spoke to that person. And when you're speaking to people, speak with the conviction of a national vice president. Be like, in the next 3 to 5 years, I will be earning dot, 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 a national vice president kind of salary. So why are you not joining me now? Like, have that conviction of like, this is the next big thing. This is ground floor Google. This is gonna absolutely explode. We're going into 2 new countries this year. Like, this is it. It's like this is like next level kind of stuff. And the people that are in Arbonne right now are going to see explosive growth over these next few months as we start launching into the new countries and as we see the tidal wave of new promotions, etc. So like, get into that vibration for yourself. Like, get yourselves into that zone of like um speaking with utter conviction. Don't let anyone derail you. And if someone does try to derail you with Arbonne, because it's going to happen, especially at the beginning of your business, when you are a little bit more like, can I do it? Is it going to work? The answer is, are you going to work? Are you going to do it? Whenever you have those thoughts of like, is this going to work? Is this going to work? Am I going to work? Am I going to work? Because Arbonne works. Fact. There are thousands of people that are making Arbonne really work. So that's a fact. So rather than put it onto Arbonne, put it onto yourself. Am I going to do what it takes to go nation in the next 3 years? And the answer is yes, because you're a freaking legend and you deserve to have massive success with Arbonne. And then I would be the next one is follow up. So this is where I struggled the most with follow up. I didn't like the idea of being a salesperson. I didn't like the idea of being a pushy person. I didn't like the idea of people thinking to themselves, "Oh God, he does all. He's like making me do Arbonne." I want you to master the follow up because that's where really you make your money. And a follow-up, when I go to my very first follow-ups and when I speak to people, my goal is never to get them signed up necessarily on the dot right there. You're doing this. It's like, let's get them to the next exposure. Let's get them to the next person. I just literally the next until they say yes. So when I spoke to Samantha Reed, who is your upline, she was like, "Oh, I don't think it's right for me. I'm a property developer, rah, 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 blah, 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 blah." Doing all her posh stuff. And I was like, that's absolutely fine. Let's meet up in the next 2 days and let's go for a drink. And let's do and I was then exposing her to a few of my friends. So I invited a few of my friends who are doing Arbonne. She got to see new people. Oh, why don't you come to this training event that I'm doing? It's not, I know you don't want to do Arbonne, but it's like life skills and it'll be really good for you. Like, invite people to absolutely everything until they say yes. Make sure that your follow up, there are so many great calls on follow up. So just make sure that you are all over it when it comes to follow ups and no one says no to you. I hate the word no. Like, no, literally is like the worst thing you could say to me. It's worse than a swear word. Don't ever say the word no to me. I'm like, ugh. Never say no to me because I'm just like, I will make you say yes. Jokes. But I just hate the word no. So yeah, just get your follow-ups on point. Next one. Have you got a 100 name list? Like, is your 100 name list on? Are you going down that 100 name list like an absolute like a ninja? Like, I don't want it to be just sat there and you look at it and it's all pretty and it's written really nicely. I want it to be like scribbled out. I want it to be like, okay, spoke to that person, spoke to that person, spoke to that person. Like, literally be going crazy. This is obviously, if you want to take this slowly and if you want to be a district manager in 4 years, that's absolutely fine. Just be really slow about it and I'm still going to love you regardless because this is a community. We're a family. We're all together. Totally fine. I just know that you wouldn't be on this call if you didn't have that little ounce of thinking to yourself, do you know what? I really deserve to be a national vice president. I know that I'm destined for more. I know that there's more out there that I can do. I know that I can push myself. So that's what I'm speaking to those people, the people that just really just know there's a little bit inside of them. They could just do that a little bit more. So with this 100 name list, I want you to be going down that list like crazy. You're speaking to people, you're adding 5 people a day to that list. You're going out and you're having a coffee. And I'm not talking about you are being a crazy person, but I'm talking about you going for a coffee and you speaking to everybody, even though it feels really uncomfortable. Because what I've learned is the wealthiest people that I know are the people that have the most connections in life. The wealthiest people I know aren't afraid to go and speak to absolutely everybody in a room and let them know who they are because they've got money. They have this sense of like security in them that they're not trying to. There's one guy right at the gym. He is hilarious, bit too much. He's got a lot of money. He is like, the more I speak to him, the more I realize, freaking hell, this man is loaded. But he goes, it is a bit annoying for some people, but he speaks to everybody at the gym. But because he speaks to everybody at the gym, and I've spoken to him, he's now introduced me to a lot of people in the gym that he knows that he starts speaking to. So I'm just like tag because I'm not quite like him. I don't want to be speaking to people mid-set. Like that's just annoying. But because he's got the contact, I kind of like piggyback off of him. And they're like, oh, I just heard that you were speaking about this. And then start like the conversation to create new networks for myself as well. Like just be a network marketing professional. Network, network, network. And I remember as an actor, I used to feel really cringe about being a networker, like trying to network to get what I want. Like it didn't feel nice. But actually, that is just your low self-esteem, not believing that you're good enough to speak to other people. Like I used to, when in the early days of my business, this is no joke. Sarah Diane was like, right, you need to go and speak to everybody. I was like, oh, okay, I could go and speak to this lady in Starbucks. And and in London, it might be different in New Zealand. I hope it is. But in London, everyone is frigging rude and no one wants to speak to you. So you start a conversation and it's the most egg thing. I go bright red and I'm like, oh my God, this is just so cringe. But the more I did it and the more I did it and the more I did it, I don't know if you've seen on social media, this girl that does rejection therapy. Have you seen this rejection therapy thing where she's like, she films herself doing really awkward things. So people are like, you're a weirdo, go away. But it's like that rejection. Because we're all, as human beings, we just don't want to face any kind of rejection. And honestly, I laugh at the things that she does because she's like on a plane. She's got a full plane behind her. She's at the front of the plane going, hi, guys. I really hope you all have a nice holiday. And everyone's like, and then she sits back down in her seat thinking, oh my God, but it's just so funny. But just make sure, I don't know where I was going with that. What was I speaking about? The 100 name list, maybe, but just make sure you're adding to that 100 name list and you are just networking. You've got a big, when someone says no to you, be like, that's absolutely fine. I saw on your Facebook that Johnny from down the road. I think Johnny would be great. Would you be able to add me into a conversation with Johnny? Because I think he would be absolutely amazing. Just like make sure that you're constantly thinking, okay, next. Bigger your network, bigger. Because it's not only going to help you in your Arbonne business, having a big network is going to help you in life. Honestly, trust me, having a big network is the best thing ever. But you need to just actually build that. So 100 name list, get it done, add to it daily. Have products to share. So this in the early days of my Arbonne business, like it was a non-negotiable. Everybody that started my Arbonne business had products to share because they were building a business. Is a taxable expense. Like just make sure you've got products to share. I think over the past few years, it's been like, oh, you can do Arbonne with not many products. I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You definitely can. And there have been people in my business that have built it with like 1 or 2 products. But actually, if you're taking this seriously, if you're being the CEO of Arbonne, have products for people to try and get on their faces because these products are amazing and they do the work for you. Do I know every ingredient in the skincare, in the nutrition? No, I couldn't probably name you 1 or 2. But do I know? Listen, hun, try this on your face. I'm going to put this moisturizer on you right now. Oh my God, how good does that feel? Oh my God, do your skin feel great? Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'm going to put it in a basket for you and you're going to buy it right now. Be cheeky, be funny, have lots of fun, but just make sure that you've got products for that person to try. Because if you're trying to sell something that you've never used and you're like, honestly, this moisturizer is really, really great. Oh, do you use it? No, no, I'm still using Dove. But for you, honestly, for you, this is going to be great. You just can't do that. You've got to be authentic. You've got to be real. Make sure you're using it for yourself and make sure you've got products for your product event and for your business. Next one. I've only got two more. The next one is okay, so what I think is going on with social media and the world right now is this kind of like soft girl era. I'm in my soft girl era. I'm just gonna like see how I go and be soft and not hustle and there's no more hustling now. It's 2025. I don't want to hustle. I just don't know how you can be a soft girl with no hustle and be a success in anything. Those soft girls, I think I've said this before, but those soft girls that are not hustling are creating content every single day of their soft girl not hustling era, which is a lot of work, let me tell you. So don't be fooled by this thing. I really think, and the other thing as well is that we all, not maybe not you, but what I hear is everybody wants this balance, this thing called balance. Balance comes after you've created something really, really big and really, really exciting. Balance doesn't come at the beginning of your business. So when I very first started my Arbonne business, I turned around to Francis and I said to him, listen, I really want Arbonne to work. I was working in Starlight Express at the time, so I was traveling around the UK on my roller skates. It's a musical theatre show called Starlight Express. It's about trains, and I was a train, and I was on roller skates, and it's an Andrew Webber show, and it's great. But I was touring around the country. I had one day off, and I just said to him, listen, for the next 2 years, well, next year especially, whilst I'm in this show, I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to spend with you. And I know this sounds so bad, but I promise you, if you can just give me this year and you stick with me for this year, I will give you the best life you've ever had. But you just need to stick with me because I'm not going to be able to be at everything and do everything for you. And like on my one day off, I'm probably going to be doing like 5 or 6 presentations in that day, launching new consultants because I just see the value in this. And I see it not just for me, I see it for both of us. So can you give me a year to prove myself right and to work? And so what France used to do on my one day off and his one day off, because he was in Legally Blonde at the time, he would, on that one day off that we both had, he would come and meet me at whatever location I was at and do the presentations with me and do all that kind of stuff. So we got to spend time together, but we were doing Arbonne together in those times. Because that was all that I had. I didn't have any extra time to do it. We didn't even have Zoom back then. I had to do telephone calls with no faces. It was terrible. And so I just knew that if I tried to give myself balance, and don't get me wrong, at the end of that year, I was so tired. I was so happy when Starlight Express finished because I was just like, oh, I can actually sleep and have time to myself. But that first year was really actually not the first year. The first 10 months was floppy Susan, not doing very much and not really getting many results. But the first year when I really decided, when I went region in 4 months and then beyond, I really, really went for it and full out with feeling. And in that year is when I saw huge, huge, huge results. And so I would just say to you that my top tip is 20x your game of what you're doing right now. Can you do more? And if you just put yourself, it's like in 12 months time, by May next year, I have to be an executive regional vice president, if not a national vice president. I am putting a lot of pressure on myself to make this happen in the next 12 months. Because what happens, I think, with Arbonne sometimes is that we think, oh yeah, I'll get there one day. And that one day 5 years flies in Arbonne. I'm sure the people that have been in Arbonne for a while can tell you, like, oh my God, how have I been doing Arbonne for 13 years? Like, it is crazy to me. Like, how has that actually happened? It flies by so quickly. So if you don't set yourself like really monthly goals, daily goals, quarterly goals, and yearly goals, and set them big, it's just going to fly by, and you're going to literally be 8 years in and be like, how am I still a district manager 8 years on? Because it just flies. So just make sure that you are setting yourself those goals and just going for it. We live once. We have one life. And it's your decision whether you have an amazing, abundant life of just like full of prosperity and full of like wonderfulness. But that wonderful, prosperous life starts now of you going, right, okay, aggressive attack. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do it fast because people love speed. And when people see that other people have been successful in short space of time, they're like, oh, well, I can do that then. And then it just tumbleweeds into absolute chaos, which is what I love. I love chaos. And then the last thing is I would speak huge vision over myself, over my business, over my people, over my sidelines. Every single time that you're like, oh God, this is terrible. This has happened. This person said no to me. Be like, babe, what's your vision? Tell me why you're doing Arbonne. I don't want to hear about the things, and I'm not poo-pooing. Those things do happen. They definitely do happen. Bad things happen. People say no to you. People put you down, all those kind of things. But if you're spending your time thinking about those things, you're not spending your time thinking about the vision of what you're creating. When you're driving, does everyone drive on this call? I'm going to just assume you do, right? When you're driving down the road, you're driving down the road like this, and you're having a great day. You're looking out the front windshield. It only takes you the mirror, the wing mirror, right, is here. It only takes you to do this, that little change of eyesight. You're not changing your head, nothing else is changing. It's just your eyes. And that helps you look back into what's going on behind you. Most people, their whole lives, spend their whole lives like this, looking at in the mirror, looking at all the things that have happened in the past and focusing on the past. I'm just trying to encourage you just to put your eyes down and look into the future. It's such a subtle change, but looking at the road, you're not going to crash. You're not going to do any of those things. You're going to be able to see where you're going. And even though you're driving and you've got an hour's drive to get to Auckland, wherever you want to say, you've got an hour's drive to get to Auckland. When you very first set off on that hour's drive, even though you're looking in front of you, you can't see Auckland. Don't get frustrated at yourselves because you're like, oh, but I'm not in Auckland. I'm not in Auckland. You've got an hour's drive to get to Auckland. Focus on, okay, I've got an hour's drive. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to listen to all my audios. I'm going to do my presentations. I'm going to do, because I know I'm going to arrive in Auckland in an hour's time. I want you to have that same certainty when you start your Arbonne business of like, I know I'm going to be a national vice president. I'm just on the road right now. I'm on the road looking in front of me. I'm not looking in the wing mirror. I'm looking right in front of me of where I'm going. And I'm focused on the abundance and the joy and the love and this fun that Arbonne is. I'm going to keep doing that. And from time to time, look behind you. Look, okay, there are some bad things, but I'm going to reframe my eyesight and go straight back on the road because I know where I'm going. And the destination, honestly, as a national vice president, is totally and utterly life-changing. You knowing that you've made the biggest difference in other people's lives is the most, honestly, it's the most wonderful feeling in the entire world. And at the beginning of your business, you don't really feel like you're making a huge difference to people. You don't. But when you start seeing people go region and nation in your success line because you said yes, because you made it happen, because you were the proof for them that this was possible, it is honestly, there's nothing else that beats this feeling and this business. That's over and out from me. I love you all so much. Honestly, let's make this last 48 hours count, but also let's make May, June, July, August, September, October, November the biggest months of your entire life. We've only got a very, like, I think 9 months now until the end of the year. 9 months of like lower quals. Get yourself to region ASAP. Right. Over and out. Love you. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Bye.
Bye.